My husband said he would be a stay-at-home dad, but he changed his mind after our baby was born, so we had a big fight. I'm a doctor who has never wanted kids. I'm 36F, and I'm a doctor. I love my job and my patients so much. There is no better honor in my life than being able to help other people. It wasn't easy to get my medical degree. I was turned down a lot of times. When I was in high school, I had a lot of problems, and I didn't get into any colleges my senior year. I had to start at the bottom and work my way up by taking remedial classes at the community college near me. I was so happy when I finally got into medical school when I was 26. My husband 37M, and I have been married for 4 years. We met in my 3rd year of medical school. I make 3 times what my husband makes in marketing. I told him right from the start of our relationship that I wasn't sure if I wanted to have blood children. My dream has always been to adopt a child from foster care, and my husband seemed to get it. But after his bee friend had a baby boy last year, he really pushed me to have kids. Because I was just starting out in my job, I was against this idea at first. I wanted to wait a few more years before talking about kids again. Because a condom broke during sex, I found out I was pregnant out of the blue in August of last year. At first, I was thinking about having an abortion, but after a lot of deep talks with my husband, we decided to keep the baby. He would quit his job and stay home with our daughter until she was old enough to start preschool. We chose for him to stay home with our daughter for a number of reasons. For example, I make a lot more money than he does, so it made more financial sense for him to do so. As a doctor who works as an associate, I am just starting out. I just started working as a doctor on my own after 4 years of medical school and a 4-year internship. My husband has been in his job for 15 years. It was very clear to me that I had no desire to stay home and be a mother. I admire moms who stay at home with their kids, but my job is my life, and I'd go crazy if I was stuck at home all day. I have no desire for this way of life at all. This last point makes me feel bad about sending my child to daycare until she is old enough to talk. Due to my own experience with being abused as a child, I don't trust people enough to leave my daughter with strangers where she can't report abuse or neglect. Today is 9 weeks since the birth of our girl, and I'm getting ready to go back to work in a few weeks. This past weekend, I went to a medical meeting out of state and left my husband to watch our daughter by himself. It was great at the meeting, but when I got home, my husband started acting strange. His daughter was taking a nap today, so I asked him what was wrong. He said he doesn't think he can do this and broke down in tears. All weekend, he talked about how stuck, alone, and stressed he felt. These days, he wants me to keep my maternity leave longer and talks about trying to get his job back. I went crazy over this. I then asked, "What are we going to do now with our daughter?" In response, he told me I should quit my job and work from home. I said certainly not, it was his idea to go to daycare. I lost it at this point and yelled, "If I knew you were going to break your promise to take care of our daughter, I would have never had your child." I know I was way too angry, and I would never trade our daughter for anything. I love her so much, but I'm mad at my husband and don't know what to do next. We need more information from OOP to deal with some health problems. A few people have already brought this up, so I'll just talk about it here. At age 17, when I lost my virginity, I began hormonal BC. It's too bad that I have almost every side effect listed in the 3-page pamphlet. It took a lot of different kinds for me to decide it wasn't for me. I had a copper iud for a few years, but I had to have it taken out early because it gave me terrible cramps. I've never had a problem with strictly condoms in the years I've been using them. Also, I never let my husband come into the condom while his penis is inside me. I know this is a personal matter. This is extra safety and peace of mind. He might come too quickly or out of the blue twice a year and not be able to leave in time. He came into the condom without warning the night we had my daughter. I didn't think much of it because it happens sometimes, but now I'm having second thoughts about a lot of things. Commenter 1: How does a neurologist work from home? This is where OP answered. NTA, he likes it when you feel stuck, overwhelmed, and alone. He needs to grow up. I guess I would have to stop taking care of patients as a doctor if I changed jobs and became a WFH. I think I'd end up working as a consultant for a health insurance business. I know that sounds awful. You have a year of paid maternity leave, so why in the world would you go back to work after 9 weeks? Oh no, not in America. In this country, you're really lucky to get any paid maternity leave at all. Commenter 3: No, not at all, but I would look at the red flags here. He wanted to have a child and you got pregnant without planning to. He now wants to go back to work, and the deal changed without warning. Also, why did he feel alone and stressed when he stayed home, but it doesn't seem to bother you when you stay home and feel the same way? Changed on September 29th, 2024. Good morning, everyone. It's been a while since my last post. Really, I didn't think my post would get so much attention, and I was shocked. There were thousands of comments and hundreds of direct messages, and I even found a picture of my post and shared it on Twitter. Thank you to everyone who sent me nice and helpful direct messages. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you to the mean DMs that called me a bad mother. They are part of the reason why 40% of female doctors quit their jobs or work part-time within 6 years of finishing their training. Like men have for hundreds of years, women can want both a job and a family. This doesn't make us monsters or bad people. Dear people who sent me direct messages asking for medical advice, I don't feel safe giving medical advice on Reddit. I hope you get the care you need. People who want to know why I wasn't on birth control can read a longer answer below. Hormonal birth control does not work for all women, though. This is something that even board-certified abgins can attest to. For almost 10 years. I tried every kind of birth control I could think of and decided that condoms and pull-out would be enough. Was this a stupid choice? Yes, we aren't always good at taking care of our own health, though, since 40% of doctors are overweight. I love my daughter and wouldn't change a thing, so I have no regrets. Okay, now for the real news. I saw how bad what I said to my husband was a few days after I wrote my first post. No matter how mad I was, I should never have used our daughter as a weapon in a fight. I love her more than anything else, so I would choose her over anything else. That means I would quit my job tomorrow and remain a single mom. I still feel bad about what I said. It was really awful. I also missed the mark by not being more patient and understanding with my husband. For background, my mom came from out of town to stay with us for 8 weeks after I gave birth. My husband did make a big difference. I think they each did half of the work with the baby for the first week or so while I got better. After that, we all did our fair share. It must have been a big shock for him to go from having 2 people help him to being by himself for a whole weekend in just 10 days. I should have known this. The same things that make me not want to be a song are what he says about feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and alone. We had a deal, but I should have let him talk about his worries without making a big deal out of it. I took our daughter to stay with my sister for a few days after the fight so I could give my husband some space. During this time, he would visit her every day, but we decided not to talk yet. When I got home, I told him I was sorry for how I handled the issue. I was surprised when he also said sorry. He assured me that he had no plans to break our agreement, but that he was simply too busy to be sure he could properly care for our daughter. He said he was sorry for giving up so quickly and suggested that I work from home. He also told me I shouldn't leave my business no matter what we decided to do. In the end of his apology, he said he was going to try being a stay-at-home dad again. After that, we talked for a long time about what we would do next. His words made me realize that taking care of our girl wasn't the hardest part. It was keeping up with the cooking and cleaning. We chose to hire a maid and sign up for one of those food kit delivery services. He joined one of those support groups for new parents to feel less alone. My sister-in-law has agreed to watch the kids for a few hours 3 times a week so my husband can go to the gym or have some alone time. It was also important for me that he let me know if he ever felt like he could no longer be Assad. I made it clear that I would be slightly unhappy, but it would hurt me a lot more to know that he was tired and upset from taking care of our daughter. Since then, we've also done things to make our marriage stronger, like going on a date night every week. I still don't trust anyone but family with our daughter, so most of these date nights involve long walks with her in the stroller or Netflix and takeout on the couch. But hey, it's been working, getting rid of the habit of poking holes in condoms. Not at all. I don't believe this took place. I really didn't even bother to ask my husband this. When our marriage was already in such bad shape, I thought that this kind of charge would make it even worse. The happy accident has stopped because my husband agreed to have a vasectomy. He is set to come later this year, so we are not participating in PIV until then. I knew I needed to go back to therapy after this whole thing, and I've been going to my doctor for about 6 weeks now. Before this, my CSA hadn't had any effect on my life in about 8 years. But having my daughter and dealing with worry after giving birth have made me think of some very bad things. Because of what happened to me, I know I'm being too defensive. I want to get over this so I can be a good mother and partner. A lot of people told me to leave my husband, and I'm sure a lot of people reading this may feel the same way. I'm sure I'm not. My husband had a weak moment and cried, but he is not usually unpredictable, dishonest, or helpful. He was there for me during my last 2 years of medical school and my training. Please keep in mind that my post was about the worst time in our relationship. The 8 great years we've had together were not shown. Where the original poster has answered, commenter 1? Oh no, all of this sounds very step 40, out of the box. Before I met my husband, I studied for the USM Step 2 test for about a year. There is no way around this test being easy. For 9 hours in one day, they will test all of your clinical information. How well you do on step 2 has a big impact on your training match. It was clear that I was very stressed. About 6 weeks before my test, we were going to have dinner at 8 p.m. with my husband. I was so tired that I fell asleep at 6 p.m. and woke him up for dinner. He came to my apartment at 9 p.m. to see if I was okay, and as soon as I opened the door, I started to cry. I sobbed in his chest and told him I couldn't finish medical school as all of my stress and worry came out. During the whole night, he comforted me and was always there for me. He brought me food twice a day so I didn't have to cook. He also took care of my cat, did my laundry once a week, and played with my kids, and massaged my back a lot because I was hunched over my books all the time. He was there for me emotionally the whole time, kept my eye on my dream, and did everything he could to make my hard time better. This is my husband, and now I'm going to do the same for you. I'm helping him in any way I can as he goes through this hard change into being a sod. People can call me a Stepford wife all they want, but I'm not going to lose my family over one bad fight. Out of the blue, she hasn't said if she plans to have more children or if she needs to do anything else. My husband is giving up his sperm. I used a copper iud for a while, but it gave me terrible periods. I'm so sick of women having to plan families all by themselves. Before 10 years, I don't want to deal with the side effects of hormonal birth control. Instead, my husband and I have decided to a quick outpatient procedure.